Every British house had them. Unwritten laws passed down like heirlooms, enforced with a look or a tutting sound that could stop you dead in your tracks. You didn't question them, you just obeyed. Some made sense, others were completely balmy. But break one, and you'd know about it. From the sacred tea time ritual to the bizarre rules about sitting rooms nobody sat in, British households ran on a strict code of conduct that would baffle anyone from outside these shores. And here's the thing, most of us didn't even realize how odd they were until we grew up and tried explaining them to someone else. So we've dug up 10 household rules that nearly every British family followed religiously. Some will make you nod in recognition, others might make you laugh at the sheer absurdity. But if you grew up in a British home, you'll know every single one of these was deadly serious. Before we start, smash that like button if you're ready for some proper nostalgia, and subscribe because we've got plenty more where this came from. Number 1, shoes off at the door, no exceptions. The moment you crossed the threshold, shoes came off. Didn't matter if you were the Queen herself, shoes stayed at the door. Your mum had just hoovered, and she wasn't about to let your muddy trainers ruin 3 hours of work. The hallway became a graveyard of footwear, school shoes, wellies, Dad's work boots, all lined up like soldiers. Visitors knew the drill. One look at the shoe pile and they'd start unlacing without being asked. Some houses provided slippers for guests. Fancy ones kept them in a basket by the door. If you forgot and walked through in your shoes, you'd hear about it. Were you born in a barn? Your mum would shout, pointing at the carpet like you'd committed murder. Today, it's still a thing. British homes remain shoe-free zones, but back then it felt like a law punishable by death. Number 2, the good room was for visitors only. Every house had one. The front room, the lounge, the parlour, whatever you called it, you didn't use it. That room was pristine. Furniture covered in plastic, cushions arranged just so, ornaments dusted weekly, and completely off limits to the family. It existed solely for guests. If the vicar popped round, you'd be ushered into the good room. If your aunt visited the good room Christmas Day, maybe, if you behaved. The rest of the year, the family squeezed into the smaller, shabbier back room, while the good room sat empty like a museum exhibit. You'd peek in sometimes, wondering what it must be like to actually sit on that sofa that nobody sat on. The carpet had hoover lines that never got disturbed. It smelled faintly of furniture polish and regret. Now, people actually use their living rooms. Shocking. But back then, comfort took a backseat to appearances. Number 3, tea time was at 5 o'clock sharp, and you'd better be there. 5 o'clock meant tea, not the drink, the meal, and you were expected home for it. No excuses. Your mum had cooked. The table was set. If you weren't there when Dad sat down, you were in trouble. Tea time wasn't casual. It was structure. Routine, the glue that held the day together. Everyone ate the same thing. No substitutions, no complaining. You got what you were given and you ate it in silence unless spoken to. The telly stayed off until after. Elbows off the table. Don't speak with your mouth full. Don't reach across someone for the salt. Manners were enforced like military discipline. Finishing your plate was mandatory. Children are starving in Africa, your mum would say, if you dared leave a scrap. Today, families eat at different times, in different rooms, watching different screens. Back then, tea time was sacred. Miss it, and you missed the whole point of family. Number 4, you never, ever sat in Dad's chair. Every dad had a chair. His chair, and God help you if you sat in it. It didn't matter that it looked like every other chair in the room. It was his, positioned perfectly for the telly, armrests worn smooth from years of use, a slight indentation in the cushion shaped exactly to his backside. You could feel his presence in that chair even when he wasn't home. If you made the mistake of sitting there, you'd hear him clear his throat from the doorway. That was your only warning. You'd scramble off, mumbling apologies, while he reclaimed his throne without a word. Mum had her spot too, but it wasn't as territorial. Dad's chair was sacred ground. Even guests knew not to sit there. They'd hover awkwardly until someone pointed them to a safe seat. Now, seating is democratic. Anyone sits anywhere. But back then, Dad's chair was his kingdom, and you were just a visitor. Number 5, the heating only went on when Mum said so. Central heating existed, but you weren't allowed to use it, not until November. Not until Mum decreed it cold enough. Put a jumper on was the standard response to any complaint about temperature. You'd be shivering, breath visible indoors, and your mum would insist it wasn't that cold. The thermostat was Dad's domain, locked at a temperature that balanced warmth against the gas bill. Touch it, and you'd be in serious trouble. Radiators stayed cold while you wore 3 layers indoors. Hot water bottles became survival tools. You'd huddle under blankets on the sofa, watching telly through chattering teeth. Meanwhile, Mum walked around perfectly comfortable, immune to cold through sheer willpower and thermal vests. When the heating finally came on, it was an event. Radiators clanked to life. Warmth spread through the house. You'd press your frozen hands against them, thawing slowly. Today, people adjust their heating with phone apps. Back then, you adjusted your clothing and accepted your fate. Number 6. Waste not, want not. Leftovers became tomorrow's meal. Nothing got thrown away, ever. Sunday's roast beef became Monday's shepherd's pie. Tuesday brought bubble and squeak from leftover vegetables. Wednesday featured sandwiches from whatever remained. Your mum was a magician, transforming scraps into meals through sheer determination and Bisto gravy. Bread went stale, bread pudding. Milk turned, scones. Vegetables past their best, soup. Everything had a second life, a third life, sometimes a fourth. The bin was a last resort, practically a failure of imagination. Waste not, want not, your mum would say, scraping plates into containers. Tupperware towers filled the fridge, each one a mystery until opened. You learned to eat things reheated, reworked, reimagined. Today, people throw out food because it's past the sell-by date printed on the package. Back then, food was past its date when it started moving on its own. And even then, you'd check if cooking it longer might help. Number 7. You asked to leave the table even after finishing. Finishing your meal didn't mean freedom. You sat there, plate empty, waiting. Fidgeting earned you a look. You had to ask permission to leave. May I leave the table, please? Formal, polite, non-negotiable. Your mum would glance at your plate, checking you'd actually finished everything, not just hidden the Brussels sprouts under your knife. If approved, you could go. If not, you waited until everyone finished. The table was a collective experience. You arrived together, you left together. Racing off the moment you swallowed your last bite was rude, disrespectful to whoever was still eating. So you sat, making eye contact with siblings, sighing quietly, waiting for Dad to finish reading the back of the HP sauce bottle and push his plate away. Only then could you ask again. Today, kids eat while walking around, watching iPads, grazing constantly. Back then, meals had beginnings, middles, and formal endings, and you respected every stage. Number 8. The bathroom wasn't for reading or relaxing. The bathroom served one purpose. Get in, do your business, get out. It wasn't a library, it wasn't a spa, it was functional. If you took too long, someone would hammer on the door. "What are you doing in there?" your mum would shout. "There are other people in this house." Baths were scheduled. 1 per week, Sunday night, 6 inches of water maximum. Everyone used the same bath water, oldest to youngest, each person adding a splash of hot to warm it up. Showers were quick, 5 minutes maximum. Any longer, and you'd hear about wasting water, wasting gas, wasting time. Heating the water cost money, and money didn't grow on trees. Reading on the toilet, unthinkable. That's what the living room was for, assuming you were allowed in there. Today, people spend 40 minutes in the bathroom, scrolling through phones. Back then, you'd have the whole family queuing outside, furious, threatening to break the door down. Number 9. Children were seen and not heard. Adult conversations were sacred. If grown-ups were talking, you stayed silent. You didn't interrupt. You didn't offer opinions. You definitely didn't correct them, even when they were obviously wrong. "Little pigs have big ears," your nan would say, if you even looked like you might speak. Dinners with guests meant children ate quickly and quietly, then disappeared. You'd sit on the stairs, listening to adult laughter from the dining room, feeling like a spy in your own home. If you absolutely had to speak, you waited for a pause, then asked permission. "Excuse me." If granted, you spoke briefly and retreated. Challenging an adult was unthinkable. Answering back, that was a paddling. Today, children have voices, opinions, rights. Back then, you had bedtimes and the instruction to pipe down.